Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I welcome you back to Six Pack Sports, episode 15. We're talking Lions football today. Richie, what are you drinking?
I'm actually pretty excited about this one. Staying on theme with my holiday, Christmassy type of beers, I have the Southern Tier Brewing Company Blackwater Series Nitro Creme Brulee. Try saying that 10 times fast.
I think you got to add a creme brulee.
I can't roll my R's. I've tried.
Edit my voice in for you.
Creme brulee. So very excited about that. Just pouring a glass on, letting that do its thing and sit for a sec. Excited. 10% alcohol by volume as well. So
I can't wait to get an hour into this. And,
was excited to pick this up. I wish I had more.
You'll be calling the Lions the Bengals. You don't know.
The big cats, the Jaguars. Yeah.
I'm drinking the Poet oatmeal stout from New Holland Brewing. I've had this before. It's a go-to for me for stout. So real excited. Speaking of excitement, let's get right into Lions football. Lions 41, Bears 10. Richie, start us off.
What a difference a day makes. It feels so much better to watch a team just kick the crap out of a team you don't like. Needed it, and needed to see the Lions come out and play well today.
If the Lions took an L today, I was worried that we wouldn't be able to do the podcast.
If the Lions had taken an L, I probably would have just been like, I need another week. I need another holiday break. No, but it was great. They looked good. I mean, and the Bears are a bad team, so you needed to see them dominate. The Bears are a bad team, and the Lions made them look like it. So that was really good to see. If you had told me when we started this podcast with a 1-6 Lions team that we would be sitting here going into Week 18 with a chance to make the playoffs, even though we need a little help, I would have said you're crazy. I said there's no chance.
Well, when we started the podcast, we made a joke that statistically we were not eliminated yet. And we were like laughing about it, but here we are.
We do it every year.
Here we are playing meaningful January football that one could either end the Packers season, we can talk about that more, or extend ours. Huge.
Regardless of what happens with Seattle, ideally we would like to see the Rams beat Seattle so that Sunday night the Lions are playing for a playoff spot so that game is really meaningful. Love that they flexed it to 8 o'clock. First primetime game of the year, so I'm very excited for that. Don't care that we would lose a draft position. I want to see the Lions get into the playoffs. And
what would we lose? 2 positions?
Win a game or 2. Yeah, we'll go from the 6th pick to the 8th or 9th.
It's a freebie pick. Anyway.
It's going to end up being a Hall of Famer, whoever they take, whatever spot they would have had.
All done.
Worst case scenario is going to be when the Rams win and if the Lions lose. And I got to tell you, Green Bay looked good. Green Bay laid it on Minnesota. I'm hoping that they shot their wad today and they come out flat next week. I don't think they will. I think Aaron's got those boys rolling up there, so it's going to be a great game. But let's talk about this week and how fun it was. What do you think?
Real quick before we go into it, the Vikings, the worst 12-4 team in the history of the NFL. Garbage.
I've been having this argument with you about Kirk Cousins.
Has a division winner ever been a point differential negative? Has that ever happened?
I'm sure, but it's not often.
Garbage.
It's not often. So, I feel very lucky that the Lions might actually have a chance to play them if they make the playoffs.
Right.
The Giants. That would be, or not the Giants, but Minnesota if they hang out.
I would like to avoid the 49ers.
Yeah, would like to avoid the 49ers at all costs and would much rather go to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. That would be pretty incredible. No, I mean, today, your boy Jared Goff, I can't say a bad word about him. He played great.
I had so much ammo. If you would have.
Yeah.
What am I going to talk about now?
I'm not even going to do it. I'm not going to give it to you. Your boy looked good. He played a good game.
Tell you what, we are going to get into it on our next topic.
I'm sure we will. And I'll even say this. One of the things that's been knocked is I don't think he's the leader. I don't think he's the guy that's taking the team. I think you probably have seen it, but during Jamal Williams' touchdown run, you get Jared Goff behind him,
running on the
running down the
sideline.
field.
Yes,
and
I did
I
see
thought,
that.
I'm like, this team's coming together.
Jared Goff is not a leader on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a leader.
I still would like a better quarterback, but nothing to say about him this week.
All right, so kind of a thing that we do in the podcast is reasons we won. Okay, Bears don't care. They did not
Bears
care.
might be tanking.
They were tanking since the last loss
Yeah,
that we had
reasons we
in
won.
Week 10. So
I don't know how deep we got to get into that. The Bears, like all three phases of the game, Bears were just a bad football team.
they played well for the opening series, and that's about it. After that, it was all lines. So number one,
Justin-
Bears don't care.
Yeah,
Number two, rushing dominance today. Williams and Swift was that 1-2 punch. They've been a 1-2 punch all year, but this was the 1-2
when
punch
Swift
game
is
where I was
healthy.
like, this is us. This
Yeah.
is our identity. Swift,
I
probably
really
his
hope
best
we-
game.
for
It was his
sure.
best game this year.
He ran inside and outside so well, caught a couple passes. He
Mm-hmm.
looked shifty. Jamal Williams, the hammer. What Swift gives you that really there's only a handful of running backs that do, Kamara, Eckler, is when they get that ball out in space. There was one today, there's two defenders coming from either direction trying to tackle him, and he was able to split the defenders like Kenny Wu and D2 and get upfield for a lot of extra yards. And there's just not a lot of running backs that force bad angles from the defense. These are professional football players on defense. They usually take correct angles, take guys down at the 10, 12-yard gains when they have open field in front of them. He just has a way of making people miss and getting into the open field. When that cat is healthy, he is so fun to watch.
I would agree. Week 10 against the Bears, we had 95 rushing yards. And today I know that the coaching staff circled that stat and made it an important thing. 265 today. So that's huge. That's huge to go from 95 earlier in the season to today's 265. Both Williams and Swift had a score, which I think is important to balance out egos. Because if we get at the end of the year and Swift was like, Williams had a Lions record of 16 scores and I had
Right.
4, I'm out of here. Balancing out does make a big deal in the grand scheme of things.
I hope they don't read into that too much.
No, they do, though.
Swift,
They do.
Of course, they do. I said too much because Swift's been out a lot this year, and when you get into the short yardage situations, they go to Williams. He's got a little extra weight. He's stronger. He does good in between the tackles. So I mean, he's gonna score more touchdowns if they continue on this path, which I think is working. So if you can get both those running backs on board, like, hey guys, this is working really well for everybody. Let's keep doing this.
Egos aside.
Then we're in good shape.
Yeah, I agree. Reason number 3 we won. I'm going to start calling him the Goff father. Okay. And yes, I made that up while making the script. The Goff father. Okay. Just a stereotypical elite output. 21 of 29 for 255, 3 scores. Guess how many interceptions? Goose egg, bro. Goose egg again.
Yeah.
No interceptions, no fumbles, no mistakes again.
I'm not going to
Again,
go ahead
and
and
again,
get too
and
high
again,
on it. It was
and
the
again.
Bears. The dude
I would agree. It
does
was
what
the
he
Bears.
needs to do to
They're
win.
garbage. The Bears
what he
were
needs to
garbage,
win.
but hey, if
I'll
you're
give
going to
you
knock
this.
them down against
I
hard
gotta
teams,
give you this.
you got to give him credit. You got to give the
He did
Godfather
exactly. He
credit.
played. I told you he played great today. I
right.
think if he
I
plays
just
like
want you
he
to
did
say it
today,
again.
if he plays like he did today,
Say it one more time, please.
every week,
Say it one more time for me.
that'll be my guy.
Say it one more time for me.
He played great today. And I got to tell you, I was thinking about this not just a few minutes ago before we got going. I said, if the Lions win the Super Bowl and they inevitably make the motion picture like they did with Kurt Warner and Zach Levy play him, is there any world where Ryan Gosling doesn't play Jared Goff?
If the Lions make the Super Bowl, and I can't even imagine or can't even believe I'm saying those 2 words in the same sentence, I own you.
Oh, yeah.
All future arguments. I own you.
Well, not all future arguments, but on this one. The Lions win the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. Yeah, you get that. I'll tell you what. They win the Super Bowl with Jared Goff. I'll buy a signed Goff jersey and I'll hang it up in my office.
Oh, you'll hang it up in your office? You won't send it to me?
Fine. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll put that on the record. If the Lions win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, I will buy a signed frame Jared Goff jersey and send it to you.
You know where it would go? It would go right there.
Yeah, I'd sign it too. I'm sure he'd sign it on the 1 and I'd sign it over on the 6. Say, F you. Oh, congratulations,
Richie.
Sports. Six-pack sports.
Lions country. One pride.
No, it was such a fun game to watch. This is something that I haven't done in a long time. I flipped a red zone in the fourth quarter.
Oh, because we were
winning by so much. Yeah. I was like, okay, they're pulling the starters. I'm going to see what's going on in the rest of the league and hope that maybe the Jets can pull an upset.
Unfortunately for me, I was so hungover that there was no movement of my body. So even if I had to move just a couple inches to find the remote, not possible. So
I mixed in waters.
I added ice to my drinks. It didn't work.
Did you do beers or whiskey?
I was drinking margaritas.
Oh, those will get you. It's the sugar. They get all dehydrated, man.
I made them with real limes. It was perfect.
Yeah, but you didn't use any sweetener? You didn't use agave or?
I guess we did use a little bit of agave syrup. So I guess
I love a good margarita.
And triple sec. But yeah.
Sneak up on
I had one too many.
Yeah, tequila. If you don't get, I don't know what tequila you use, but if you get there's the non 100%. Whatever their tree is, if you get the mix, the 51, because you only have to have 51% agave plant for it to be called tequila. And this guy I know is a big tequila guy. He's the other 49%. A lot of the time is grain alcohol. So Jose Cuervo will give you the worst hangovers. But if you get the tequilas that have 100% agave, you won't get nearly as bad a hangover.
I'm at the point in my life where it doesn't matter what I'm drinking. If I have too much, I'm going to have it.
I haven't figured myself out yet. It doesn't matter what I drink or how much. There will be days where I drink absurd amounts and I will wake up the next day and be fine. And then there are days where I'll have 3 or 4 drinks and I'll wake up with a splitting headache the next morning. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
So it was my wife's holiday, so she had to work, bless her heart. She came back, and I'm laying on the couch. She's like, how you feeling? I was like, oh, yeah, I ran a 5K this morning on the treadmill. She's like, really? I was like, no. I can't even spell 5K right now.
Gullibles written on the ceiling. All right,
reason number 4 on why we won. The defense held their own against the mobile fields, and I was real happy for that.
I was nervous in that first
series,
drive.
Yeah, the first series, I was like, geez, oh, Beats, what is happening? Tackle the dude.
Yep.
After that, lock down. Quick little stat here as well. Aiden Hutchinson, your boy, has more interceptions this year in his rookie season than that dumb Buckeye Jeff Okudah does in his entire career.
He's got more than Sauce Gardner.
Make that make sense. Too. Make it make sense, Richie.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't. I would like to say it's because defenses are so scared of Okudah that they just don't throw at him, but that's not true.
That's not true.
He gets torn up.
He got sat again.
He was having a really nice season, and then he started regressing a bit. And I don't know. It might be getting time to call bust again. We'll see.
Sense. Make it make sense.
I can't. I'll get into my reasons. You took one of mine, which was they just ran the ball. They controlled the game.
Rushing
they looked great. Ran the ball. We're a running team for the first time since Barry Sanders. Great. Number 2, won the turnover battle. Created plays, won the turnover. That's a big key there. And then other than that, they were just so bad. You can kind of pick your poison. We had field position the whole game. They controlled the clock by running the ball. They stopped them on defense and held them to 10 points. The line, anything they did pretty much attributed to why the Lions won today. They kicked their butt. It was a awesome game for a Lions fan. With that in mind, let's look to Sunday night, 8:20. First question, do the Rams do what they need to do, beat Seattle in Seattle to make that game a win-and-in situation?
Well, I think they're better with Baker Mayfield. I think that we can both admit that he is.
They're the defending Super Bowl champions.
But we've discussed earlier, it's a totally different team.
Well, they're all injured and out. Like Aaron Donald's out, Cooper Kupp's out, Stafford's out. Is your argument that are they better with Wofford than Mayfield, or are they better with Stafford than Mayfield?
Oh, they're better with Stafford, 100%.
Okay, I was
he's done. He's out for the season.
I was about to lose.
They went on this 4-game losing streak.
He's off the IR. Stafford could come back this week if he wanted to. They're not gonna, but how amazing would that be if Stafford comes in and just has a old school Matt Stafford game, throws for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns to give the Lions a chance.
Dedicates the game to the Detroit Lions.
This one's for you guys. Thank you for letting me out.
Just
Easy.
Does his post-game interview telling Green Bay to F off.
Aaron, I always hated you.
This
is for you. But no, I don't think they'll play me. That'd be stupid on their part. So I would have to say it's probably like a 1-3, a 1-4 chance that the Rams can go up to Seattle and pull that upset.
Statistically, I would agree. The only thing that I can kind of give some advantage here is the Rams play Seattle well.
The NFC West plays each other in their division so well.
In their division, yes.
They're so competitive with each other every game. Like, they're all coin flips. This one, they're beaten up. It's not in our favor. I think regardless of that game wins or lose, I think Campbell and the attitude he's bringing to this team, they're going to be probably a little bummed that they're not playing for a playoff spot, but they're going to want to play spoiler. They're going to want to keep
100%. So let's
there
break
would be
down
no better feeling in Detroit as a Detroit fan than ending Aaron Rodgers' season and hopefully his Green Bay career in Lambeau and sending everybody home angry, regardless if you're getting into the playoff or not.
It's aggressive. So let's break down the 3 remaining teams for that last wild card spot. There's one spot left. It's the Giants officially
they clinched by getting to 10
and
wins.
The Washington Commanders did exactly what we said they were going to do, because they were a hot garbage team to begin with, and they never impressed us. They never impressed us. They had one good win all year. The rest of their wins were garbage teams. So we knew that they were going to not make it through this trek. So currently in the 7th spot is the Seahawks,
who hold the head-to-head tiebreaker against our Detroit Lions
with a Big Ten style win, or excuse me, a Big 12 style win over the Lions. Just whoever had the ball last was going to win that game.
Yeah, 48-45, week 2.
They need to win their game against the Rams and have Green Bay lose. Next in line, our hometown team, Detroit Lions, one pride. They need to have Seattle lose and themselves win. And lastly, the team with actually the best odds, the Green Bay Packers, they just have to straight up win, and they own a tiebreaker with Seattle with a better conference record, which blows my mind that Packers, we weren't talking about them at all.
Death, taxes, and the Packers making a push to get into the playoffs. It's just every year, and it's hilarious to me that they control their own destiny as well. Like the fact that their last game will give them a divisional win, which would be their tiebreaker versus Seattle. So they're in a win-and-in situation. They beat Detroit, then they'll have a better record than Detroit, and that'll give them more divisional wins. Aaron Rodgers just knows how to get his team to the playoffs.
It's weird. He's the GOAT regular season quarterback.
He's also the GOAT at losing NFC championship games.
Sure.
Touche. No. It's pretty amazing how
Is he like
everybody
1-7?
writes off. Yeah, he's really bad in NFC Championship games. They went to a lot. He might have the biggest wasted career of any quarterback outside of maybe Dan Marino.
Well, we've discussed how earlier in one of our podcasts how the Packers management has ruined that career. Wasted
Just
talent.
never got him a wide receiver. And then they did with Devontae Adams, and they didn't keep him. All right, we don't want to have an haw about that because we want to talk about playoff situations. One thing that is amazing to me is how the media will every year write off Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers early in the season, and then here they are. Brady's in, and Aaron Rodgers controls his fate. I've never seen two guys get more hate and love at the same time from media. They just make no sense.
Sorry to cut in, but Aaron Rodgers is 1-4 in the NFC.
Yeah, that makes me happy.
I thought it was more, but still.
To go to, I mean, he's
It's like a
been
Jim
in the-
Harbaugh-esque record for bowl games.
Dude, it really is.
How come I didn't get that in
You
yesterday's?
got to dig. Actually, I even said we had lost our last 6 bowl games, and you just let it slide.
Okay.
I'd been to 2 of them.
Missed opportunities.
All right, so those are the 3 teams remaining in the wild card spots. Obviously, it sucks that we need help to get in.
Correct. We have the
So-
worst odds, which is difficult.
We have the worst odds, which is no fun. But honestly, I am not mad because when we were 1-6, I was like, okay, we're playing for the number 1 pick at this point. And the fact that we're sitting here at the end of the season and we just need a Seattle win or a Seattle loss, who isn't that good of a football team, so they could easily mess this up and lose. So all we need is a Seattle loss.
Seattle ride and dies on whether or not Geno Smith plays.
Yeah.
Above
Which
average or
Geno
not.
Smith? Are we getting the New York Jets Geno Smith, or are we getting Week 1 and early
Speaking
season
of the
Geno
New York
Smith from this
Jets,
year?
Garbage.
Yeah,
last
frauds.
month.
Almost as big of frauds as Minnesota.
Gosh, they were so bad this weekend.
So they were. But then, yeah, so we need them to lose, which is entirely plausible, and the Lions to beat Green Bay, who we've already beaten this season. The only issue is Green Bay is peaking. They looked good today.
Well, on the flip side, we're better than we were in week.
I think it's
5 or
going to be a
6
good
when we
game.
played them.
I wouldn't be shocked if this game comes down to who has the ball last and goes down to kick a field goal.
If Green Bay's defense plays as well as they have, a night game at Lambeau, we'll see if the Godfather can handle it. That might be
tell you
the
what.
biggest thing for you.
If he can make plays, so if it comes down to it, let's just create the hypothetical. Seattle loses. We're going into it. Lambeau Field, January, playoffs on the line, and Goff goes out and slings it. He'll show me that he has what it takes to take us to the next level. That being said, I just want to see him consistently beat good teams. That would be in line with that. So I'm really excited for this weekend. It's going to suck. And I hate to say this, but as a Lions fan, like, this is in the back of my head. If the Rams win and Detroit loses, that's going to just be a little extra. We lose the draft position and we didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
Like, that's going to suck.
And we let it slip.
Yeah.
We could have just beat Carolina and we would have been fine.
Beat Carolina, not mess around. Like, we gave up 48 points to Geno Smith in week 2. That game was so ugly. We say it every week, but if we don't have a historically bad
that was before our defense. Had a couple things figured out.
We had so many, like, Paschal wasn't in there. We didn't have Houston. We didn't have a lot of guys to start the season. But, man,
Yeah, Houston, best 6-rounder ever.
I think we lost by 3 to Philly week 1. Like, we almost pulled that out in Philly, almost beat the Bills. There's so many what-ifs with this team that if I don't know if I sent you. There's so many what-ifs and so many close
We had
games.
the Vikings on the ropes.
We had the Vikings on the ropes early in the season in Minnesota. They did somebody
We had
posted
the Rams
things
on the
if
ropes. The Bills
what the
on the
standings what the standings would be if every one-score game in the NFL was flipped. what teams' records would be, Detroit would have been a 10-win team if every one-score game was up. Minnesota would have been a 3-win team.
That makes me want to
Yeah, there was a couple that made sense. Like, if every one-score game was flipped, the Chiefs would have been, I think, undefeated. The Bills would have been good. But, like, Minnesota would have been 3 wins. They just have a way of being there at the end and pulling it out.
Yeah, it's Kirk
So,
Cousins.
yeah.
You like that? You like that?
Hate it. So, incredibly excited. I like the fact that we're going to know what we're playing for going into Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I wasn't looking forward to having the Lions play at 1 o'clock and then seeing the 4 o'clock game and having to be overly invested in Seattle, LA, because I know how that goes. If Detroit plays first, Detroit wins, and then the Rams lose, and then I'm upset. This way, at least I know when the Rams lose, okay, we're playing spoiler. And if we lose, we get a better draft pick and we didn't have a shot to make the playoffs anyways. I can rationalize it in my mind.
I agree.
So I'm excited, regardless, for our first primetime game of the year. What do you think? How do you think it's going to play out?
Final sip here on the Lions. Great win today on a soulless Bears team. The Godfather played great. Our rushing played exceptionally well. And we're still in the hunt. It's what we wanted for the last month. Stay in the hunt. Keep winning. Regardless if Seattle wins or loses, we can be the reasons the Packers don't make it. And that's very, very important for the development and the future of this team. Lions country. One pride.
Go Lions. Very excited for that. Again, the fact that we are playing meaningful football in Week 18 has me excited. I can't ask for more from this team. I had us at 4 wins this season. We're trying to get 9 and a wild card. I'm ecstatic. Go Lions.
I had us at 8 wins. I hope I'm wrong.
I got to pull out that I got to order one of those LA Rams shirts from last year. The LA, or was it, did you see it? The LA Lions.
LA Lions. I'll be wearing my Stafford jersey. Just I hope so.
My buddy, after Stafford won the Super Bowl last year, he works over at the Arizona racetrack. Stafford came out and was the Grand Marshal. He had him sign a couple hats for me and send them over. I might have to throw one on.
Jealous.
Yeah, it was a pretty good gift to get in the mail. That was a good one.
All right, moving on. NFL lock-in road game of the week.
It's called Road Dogs. It's
NFL Road Dogs.
Road Dogs.
You start barking. We're ending the podcast immediately. Week 18, last week of the year. You currently have a 2-1 lead on me. You successfully picked the Packers to beat the Dolphins.
And I hated that pick.
And I successfully picked the Jags over the Jets because the Jets are garbage at the end of the season right now. This week, I picked
Before we get into this week, can you believe the Jags are winning their division right now?
I love it.
Can you believe it? It's crazy. I'm going to go to the game.
I'm actually happy. I'm happy for them. I think it's a
it gives me hope
fun young
that the
team
Lions
to watch.
can do it.
And I'm sick of Tom Brady getting all the Florida attention.
I think I'm going to have to go. The Jags Stadium's like an hour from my house. I think I'm going to have to go to that playoff game if they don't blow it against Tennessee this weekend.
So when we come to visit in the fall for our family Disney trip, we should probably go to an NFL game.
What month are you guys? What month is your trip?
Likely September.
It's hot, but we can go. You got to sit in the shaded area. I've gone to an October game.
I'm from Michigan.
It's hot.
I can go to Ohio and it's warmer. It doesn't matter.
It's hot. Anyway,
I like it. Give me the 4 teams.
Something like
Give me my 4 teams.
All right. So for our choices this week, I looked at it. I tried to pick games that were meaningful for both teams. I tried. And I tried to pick the most even games we could, so we had somewhat of a chance with our road teams. So, Drew, you'll get first pick this week. The first option, Tennessee at Jacksonville, and they're playing for the division. So this is a meaningful game. Playoff spot.
I think the loser does not make the playoffs.
So winner wins the division, losers out of the playoffs. is my understanding on that game. We
I
have
agree.
Cleveland we have Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is playing for a wild card. I think they need help to get in, but they are playing for a spot. Cleveland is not. Cleveland is eliminated, but Deshaun Watson's back, so if you want to roll with them, that is an option. Could not put on Detroit at Green Bay on Sunday night. That is
Probably
gonna be a
the
meaningful game.
most important, meaningful game of the season up to this point. I think.
100%. And then lastly, I have the Jets at Miami, who Miami is still fighting for a spot as well. The Jets, I think, they're just a scrappy team. They're not really tanking for a pick, so I think they'll still give it a decent game. So those are the picks. Again, Tennessee at Jacksonville, Cleveland at Pittsburgh, Detroit at Green Bay, and the New York Jets at Miami.
4 tough games. Actually, 3. I think the Jets are garbage. I think Miami wins easily. So 3 tough games. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Tennessee looked very, very bad
Yeah.
last Thursday. That's a tough team.
I never thought
They
I'd
depend on a
say
win.
I never
Without
thought I'd
Derrick
say
Henry-
a team misses Ryan Tannehill so bad.
right. Bless that dude's heart that came in. Who's like a 5th stringer, practice squad, working at Menards on the weekend guy. Actually, I think they said he's like a.
Homie was selling houses 2 weeks ago.
I think he's like a NASA scientist. Now that I think about it, I
Him
take
and
that-
Matt Patricia would get along.
I think my Menards comment was inappropriate.
He's actually a
Education.
genius.
He's actually really smart.
He's,
Anyway,
he's actually a rocket scientist.
can't trust Tennessee with a backup quarterback. Derrick Henry's not 100%. That's tough. Cleveland at Pitt. I just don't give a crap about that game. That's garbage. Deshaun Watson is a garbage can. Pittsburgh, since Ben Roethlisberger left, garbage. I'm falling into your trap, and I'm taking the Detroit 3-1-3 Lions for my road dog win of the week and making you pick from one of these 3 garbage cans.
Yeah, this was not a trap. I picked 4 games that I really didn't like any of them. So I wanted to make it hard on us. Detroit, there's no gimmies on here. Every team is tough. I am going to go with Cleveland. I hate doing it because of Deshaun Watson, but I do think they're the best option out of those. I think Tennessee and the Jets lose pretty handily. Cleveland, I think, is going to want to play spoiler to Pitt. Again, for the same reasons I was talking about earlier, they're not tanking. They're a middle of the road team. They're going to be a middle pick. And Pittsburgh and Cleveland has been a rivalry of sorts for quite a while. They don't like each other. They're like 30 miles away from each other.
So you're
So,
taking Cleveland?
I'm taking Cleveland.
Okay. It's respectable. That probably would have been my backup option if I had to choose second and you took the Detroit.
Yeah. And I think next week, what we do in the playoffs is we just have to pick an underdog. So we turn road dogs into underdogs. We can pick any playoff game. Because the underdog is pretty much going to be the road team anyway. But I think we just go underdogs because there's only going to be, 6 games next week?
You pick one. And actually, in the NFL, it should just be straight up. You just pick the winner. I mean,
We can talk about it for next season. Like we could do a
Absolutely.
spread thing where we pick against the spread and keep track. But yeah, I think that's a good idea for next week. Is we just go with underdogs.
so right now, you're winning 2-1. You've made 2 solid selections. I had some bad picks. You had the worst pick though of the challenge, picking today, but so bad. Last things here before I let you go. Rate your beer, my man.
I'm actually pretty disappointed with this one. I'm a big stout fan. I usually like them. I like creme brulee. I have it every Christmas. It's great dessert. The combination pairing of the creme brulee with the nitro stout, maybe it's because it's out of the can and not a fresh tap pour. It was really bad. It's like a 1.5. I wouldn't drink this again.
No kidding.
It was bad.
the Poet Oatmeal Stout by New Holland Brewing. It's actually a staple in my house. So this is a 4.7 beer for me.
Jealous.
I'll probably have 3-4 more of these before I go to bed. And I'll tell you what, that ends our episode for today. Next week, we are going to make or break our soulless bodies on this game. A couple games. So we'll be back next week to break down lines on a regular season game. Do we make the playoffs? We'll see what happens. See ya.
See ya.